Welcome to the world of Rokugan. Rokugan, as far back as people can remember, has been a world in flux. Nobody remembers why it's in flux anymore, but there are plenty of rumors. Some people say it was a mad wizard or several wizards gone wild with their experiments. Some say it was like a battle between the gods. Others take it as proof that the gods no longer care about the universe. For whatever reason, though, the planes that make up the different layers of the realm all began to mix at some point in the distant past. Because of this, things are in a constant state of flux. Venturing outside the walls of a city sanctuary will make a traveler finding himself at the whims of the very planes themselves. Walking along the road, you might be in an ordinary, peaceful material plane, and only to find it all of a sudden suddenly erupt into bright light of Elysium or some raging tempest from the plane of air. So basically, this world, at a moment's notice, can change from one type of environment, say like temperate, to a snowy tundra, or a raging sea, or a crazy beach, just on a moment's whim. More than that, many spirits call Rokugan home. Some of the spirits they call friends, while others they haunt us in our nightmares. And it's to this world that you are called. You each have something that few people possess in Rokugan called the Divine Sight. For some of you, that was baked into your very DNA. For others, it was more of a programmed thing. That they figured out how to take this special gift that was originally only for a few and distribute it to the many through the way of robots. So as those with this gift, you start on a tiny island to the east of the Palace of the Mantis, where they have attempted to protect against planar shifting by casting a massive ritual involving 500 mages, many of whom lost their magical ability attempting to seal this island off from the rest of the world. In such an environment, this island has thrived for generations, but now the shield is starting to blink at times, go out for minutes, and the city is trying to decide what they are going to do next. There is a fighting force on the island called the Vivicantum. The Vivicantum are the defenders of the island, and it is to that you have either been joined, called, or lended your service to, so that the Vivicantum can once again return to fighting strength as the shield threat becomes imminent. And that is what brings you to the main crevice. There's an inside this crevice is a training hall for the Vivicantum. You see Brudmog, the trainer of the Vivicantum, a stocky dwarf with a white long beard and probably the oldest warrior of the Vivicantum, marching back and forth doing drills with new recruits as they begin to restart the Vivicantum together. And as he looks up, Irv, why don't you describe, what does your character look like when Brudmog sees him? What are you wearing? What do you look like?
I'm a rather fat, bald dwarf. Or not dwarf, orc. Bald orc. Tusks, green skin. Typical orc. Not too terribly bright. Quick to anger. Loves throwing my favorite crossbow. Usually against trees.
Excellent. And as you approach Brudmog, coming down into this crevice in this training center, he looks up.
Ah, well met. I am Brudmog, the dwarf. Who be you?
I'm Jukorg, the orc.
Hello, Jukorg. Tell me, what experience do you bring to our fine adventure?
I'm an expert at crossbows.
Ah, do you perhaps shoot little small animals with that crossbow, or is it more like shooting targets in a far distance?
I'll shoot damn near anything, really.
I see, excellent. And do you have any mano-mano combat experience, as it were?
I'm moderately proficient in the art of smashing things.
Ah, excellent. Well, I have 2 new recruits who look like they could use some of your style of leadership. And yes, they've been loaned to us as of recently, and be very interested to see how you work together as a cohesive unit. So we're going to get you into some drills and into some training together, and then we're going to see how you guys can perform. So if you could, and he kind of points down the crevasse into kind of like a small little waiting area. There's 3 or 4 groups of people already training in that area. If you could wait down there, I will send the other 2 to you shortly. So, do you walk down there? Do you
Sorry.
want to have further conversation with him, or
I was looking for Torque's name, but I don't see it.
You'll get that when you go down the damn stairs, hippie.
Let's go, Mister.
Technically, he's kind of stumbling down the crevasse. So not quite the stairs.
all right?
Let's go.
So you make your way down into the little training area. Brudmog approaches you 2, who he's kind of just had standing off to the side, and he walks over. I've never met many of your kinds, but that man right there looks like he can use all the help he can get. Do me proud and keep him alive. How do your robots acknowledge? You have vocal patterns, speeches. Can you speak common?
Yeah, you damn robots.
Broken copy.
Oh, speak up.
Yes. Talk just good.
My robot was once very sophisticated, but he is as old, probably about as old as the barrier, so he's not doing all too well with the wear and tear of time.
I think the big robot's busted, so I don't want to smack it.
You hurt your hand made of metal, bitch.
I got to roll. I got to roll for that to see how
okay.
successful my slapping you upside the head works.
So Brudmog issues the 2 robots down towards the big orc. And why don't you go ahead and describe your characters as you and how you get down to this area in the crevasse.
I'll let you go first, Murphy, since you have the tablet there but didn't bring up your picture.
Humanoid, stompy, round feet with large halberd arm and a large cannon arm. Circular flying saucer shaped knock, the single red eye in the middle.
Hey, I gotta go make the baby a bottle. Give me 1 minute.
Baby bottle. Hey, there it is.
Yeah! Exterminate!
I can't zoom in on it there. Make it bigger.
It's close enough. You can zoom in.
Gets the point across.
Yeah, see, that complements it well. Your robot is exactly as robust as mine is not. I think that just means we need more robots. It's clearly the solution here.
You can't have enough robots.
The mechanical arcane uprising. The meat bags have cowered behind the barrier too long. Repent, repent.
Okay.
All right. So you saw Murphy's character kind of walk down. Troy, why don't you describe your character and how you get down the crevasse?
Small, I guess cat-sized robot here. Itiru is an amalgamation of arcane crystals and shaped alloys, delicately crafted in the obnoxious manner one would expect of an elf or other sophisticated individual. And rather than running down on his own accord, has leapt up and is sitting on top of Murphy's robot. Is being conveyed downward, surveying all before him as if it was owned by him.
So it is this sight as your orc kind of stretches his arms and sits in this waiting period. You see these two robots descending down the crevasse, heading towards you.
I scoff and say, like a parrot upon a captain's shoulder. The little squirrel sits.
Chimichanga.
So as you descend together and kind of group up, you see one of the sub-lieutenants kind of walk over. All right, it is time for your training. It's just a pretty average-looking human. He's got his coat of arms on with the Co-Vivicantum seal on his upper breastplate. We've been asked to do a small perimeter run. So we're going to go out to the edge of the beaches, and we're going to see how you guys can perform up against some of the, let's say, less than desirable creatures that inhabit the edge of the water there. Any questions before we begin?
No. Let's do it.
And before we go, if I could just have your names real quick so I can mark them in the roster.
I'm Chugorg.
BLT 14.
Ichiru, yes.
What was
Ah,
that?
excellent.
I didn't catch that. How do you spell that?
Because
Y parenthesis TERU.
Craig's character, or at least the original character sheet, is over there. If you,
Oh, where? Oh, is this? See,
Oh, not the updated one?
I have not put the updated one in there yet. No.
That's a kind of a big difference. I completely redone half of it.
Okay.
I think it's pronounced.
It's
So
Flesh.
he looks you over as you guys have this exchange. First time working in a group, I can tell. All right. Well, let's head on out and let's get to the business. If you need any supplies on the way up, make sure you grab at least a day's rations. There'll be a small food vendor on the way up that will get you anything you need. First course, of course, is on the Vivicantum recruits. So, although only one of you potentially looks like you eat. Anyways, definitely happy to have you here. Should be a cakewalk of a mission. No problem.
well. Let's stop at the food merchant there.
All right. So you approach the food merchant, and he is got all of his cooking gear out. It is a turtle, and he is very excited dishing
Wait,
out.
the cooking guy's a turtle?
Yes, he is.
Turtles are delicious.
This turtle looks a little more menacing than your average turtle, though. With you can see that he carries an old spear strapped to his back as between ladling different sets of soup into what you can only assume are some type of tortoise-shaped bowls that he has carved out of wood, and he passes the bowls of soup out to the people. Welcome.
Atiru gives a nod to the small bird riding on the turtle, seeing another likewise highly intelligent individual.
The bird's eyes sparkle blue for a moment, belying what used to look like a regular form to see probably a creature of similar origin to your own, and then it returns back to its normal state and gives a slight bow.
Atiru chirps happily at this.
I browse the goods.
He has soup, bread, and soup.
You're a damn robot and you don't eat, so can
Wow, I thought turtles would have pizza. This is just me.
I purchase, I don't know, how many days can I live off a loaf of bread?
I think you
like
should
what?
add like how portable is this soup?
Yeah, this not very.
You're
It's in a
getting
damn
traveling
bowl.
food off of this turtle guy.
He's not gonna sell thermoses.
He
of soup.
handcrafted these bowls. What if they got handcrafted lids?
Seriously, I doubt it. Not unless
Look
he's
at
got.
he's got like little handy turtle hands, so he
He
could
d-
probably like,
No,
manipulate some
look,
pretty
they're
good
stubby
lid bowls.
claws.
You
I
could
want the
inquire of
bread.
the soup vendor if he has a lid for you if you wish. Or you
Hey
could try to do a robot.
Donatello, how good
How-
is your bowls for travel?
What's better? How good is the soup?
You take a bite of the soup and you taste it's a very meaty soup with some really good vegetables. It's kind of like a beef stew.
Is it beef?
It is not beef.
The animals.
What
This
kind? What kind of containers do you have to carry said soup in, Turtle Man?
Well, he picks up one of his bowls and then he takes his spear and pops a spot from underneath the counter and out pops several lid sets. I've got these. And he picks up one of the lids and slaps it on top, very much like a Snapware container where it has a little thing that you can open and close, to almost like a thermos. And he says, "Works pretty nicely."
I'll take one and then cram a loaf of bread into it.
He gives you a very puzzled look and then nods his head and goes on to the next person in line.
I want 3 portable soup bowls. Can I do a cartwheel with these?
You can attempt to do a cartwheel with them if you wish.
Yeah, but will the soup spill if I do a cartwheel with?
Not
the
if you
soup?
put lids on them.
Okay, 3 soup bowls and 3 soup lids.
He sells the soup lids separately.
Yeah,
It's
I
on
assume.
the house. It's your
That-
first time
yeah,
out as a
I
Vivicantum.
was about to throw a fit.
So if you wish to do a cartwheel with the soups, you certainly can do that. What do you do, Churu,
All right.
when your
want-
riding companion starts doing a cartwheel?
I
People
forgot
leap
about
off
I
and
watch.
hiss.
I bet he can't do it because he's gonna fail miserably. Because he's got a halberd and a cannon for an arm. It's not gonna work.
Do you feel like this is something you could reasonably do, Murphy, or do you actually want to roll for it?
Yes, I could. Oh,
You cannot.
I have like athletic-y points. I'm fucking
You
perfectly
know,
capable
that's
of doing a goddamn
whatever.
cartwheel.
And
I
I've
was
got
testing.
intimidation.
I wasn't testing my ability to do a cartwheel. I'm perfectly capable of doing a cartwheel. I am testing the ability of these soup lids to stay on these soup bowls.
Fair,
You do a
fair
full
enough.
cartwheel with the soup bowls in tow, and not a drop drips out.
What did you, he didn't roll. He
Good
didn't
sir.
roll. Or did you roll?
The Coco said I didn't need to roll. Coco
Oh.
asked if I should have to roll.
You should have had to roll. 'cause you
I've
fell
got
flat
a
on
point in
your
athletics,
face.
so I'm not even like I'm pretty capable of doing
Whatever.
regular ass cartwheel. Thank you, Mr. Turtle. These are fantastic fucking travel balls, sir.
You're welcome. And he goes back to the next person in line. Made those myself.
Atiru claps excitedly at the cartwheel, knowing that the robot he has chosen to follow is a worthy meat shield.
So you make your way back up from the crevasse into kind of the area of Ko proper. Ko is divided into kind of 3 general sections. There is the main city center itself. There is the training area of the Vivicantum, and then there is kind of like the fields and farm areas. It's not a big island. There's probably only 1,000 people that live on this island, so it's not like it's a huge island. Chances are you can probably run into people you know on a fairly regular basis. So It will take you probably a little bit less than a half of a day to travel from one side of the island to the other side of the island on foot. So it's a pretty short walk, all things considered, from one side of the island to the other. And your esteemed lieutenant steps up. All right, everyone, I'm going to leave you here at the top of the crevasse. Good luck. Make sure you don't die. Report anything, and if you need, and he pulls out a small little contraption from his leg. It looks like a crystal that has red, and if you shake it a little bit, it shows you that it kind of starts bubbling. Break this, it will send off a magical flare into the air, and will know you're in trouble and you need help. So feel free to use that if needed.
Atiru?
I angrily grab the crystal from his hand.
Hey, LT, is there a haberdashery around here?
Yes, in the main city, absolutely.
All right, then.
What the hell's a haberdashery?
Fucking hat
Hats.
store.
It's very important to have a good hat. It's a sign of leadership.
Well, I was thinking I got a gross little metal rat laying on my head, so I should get it.
It's a
hat,
squirrel.
like a bonnet, so it
Or not even a squirrel.
Have
It's a
like a
fox.
cushion.
Yeesh.
All right, so he leaves you, and now is simply the three of you remaining at the top of this crevasse.
Well, let's head down to the. Is there a beach nearby?
We're on an island.
Yeah, so there should be 360
Guessing
degrees
there's-
of beach.
Can we go to the hat store first?
We should probably do what we were sent out to do
Yeah.
first.
Well, I gotta
then
get a hat.
paid, then
I've got
we
a
get
rodent
paid, then
on
we
my
get the
head.
we need the
Oh,
gold
it's
for
a
the hat,
robot.
man.
All right, let's go
It's
make
like-
some scratch down at the beach. What are we doing at the beach?
We gotta mop up some degenerates, from what I've been told.
Go mop up some degenerate.
They're with local wildlife.
What mop up degenerates with local wildlife? Got it.
We'll run across degenerates because
Let's go down to the beach.
Let's go.
All right,
Give
you begin your
give
trek.
me one. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
I was trying to make your ride more comfortable, Troy, but I guess I don't.
Oh
have
no.
any.
He would have hopped off by now. After you did the cartwheel, that's a sign that you are worthy and thus you are no longer
I
to
feel
be
like I gave
demeaned by being sat upon.
Fair warning that I was going to do the cartwheel. Oh, it wasn't that I was going to do a cartwheel. It was
It's that you did a good job doing a cartwheel, and that's why you are no longer transportation. You have been upgraded in terms of the ranking system of Vitiru.
see. I don't think that would make the head a more, pleasant space to say since she's all
Nah.
agile. But I've got 3 bowls of soup. I tend to
That's
trade
kind
it
of the
for
whole point of being agile, though, and so you don't get hit. I'm playing a ranged spellcaster.
Ooh, we got the beach. Right by the beach.
Okay.
All right, so we just need to replace that turtle with a mud crab. We're set.
All right, so you begin your journey down towards the beach. And as you're walking, I'm going to ask for our first roll of the night, which is going to be a vigilance roll. So on your character sheet, you all should have a line for vigilance. And so if you have a rank in vigilance, so for instance, Irv has a rank. So
Yeah.
Murphy, you actually have 2 ranks in vigilance. So you would roll a yellow, a green, and 2 purple dice because it's an average difficulty check.
Okay, where's my dice?
This is the magic dice pool here.
Oh, a purple,
2 purples, a yellow, and a green.
2 purple, yellow, green.
So you
13.
did not notice anything, but you have 2 advantages. So in this system, There's both the binary pass and fail, but there's also this idea of advantages and disadvantages. So, like, if you're in combat and you're swinging your sword and you miss with your sword, you might see an opening that next time you see, like, the pattern the guy uses when he's fighting. So you might have an advantage next time you try to attack. Or you might roll threat, and in case he might notice something about you that is, and he might have an advantage the next time he tries to attack you. Or you can use advantage to recover things like strain, which is very important, especially for like people like Troik, who uses a lot of spell casting abilities. So the idea is it's not just pass or fail. It can also move the story forward, or you can add items, narrative items to it. Like, you got a couple advantages, you might say, as I was looking around to see what I could see by the beach, but I noticed a hat. It has nothing to do with the success or loss of the roll, but it moves the story forward in a way that's interesting. So that's kind of the idea of advantages and disadvantages. So how would you like to use your advantages that you got on this roll of vigilance?
Are the purple ones the advantage?
So there's a whole, so you have these two little arrows here, the three arrows up. So those are advantages, and then you have, this is a threat. So these two basically cancel each other out. You got a blank on this one, so there's nothing there. So all you're left with is two advantages, no successes.
Okay, what do I do with my advantages?
So you could, again, say something narratively, like you notice something in this case. Like you could say, I notice there's a hat floating across the wind. Or you could,
what about like, hey, there's some ne'er-do-well teenagers on the beach.
I would give you that for a success potentially. But
okay.
Yeah, this is more flavorful stuff. Or like if you had expended strain to do like your roll, your acrobatics roll or whatever, then you could have recovered some of that with your advantages or something like that.
Oh, okay.
The long walk was good for you, and you use your advantages to recover strain. So I will let you think about that as Irv goes ahead and Shakun.
What do I get to roll?
You have
True.
1 in vigilance. So that is going to give you a yellow and a green based on your stats. So yellow, green, and 2 purples.
Just hit R.
Oh, shut up. Oh, do I get nothing?
You have a complete wash, yes. So you are just happily walking along, drinking your soup. And then Troik, let me pull up your new character because I don't have that. Ituru has 1 in vigilance as well, so it's the same roll for you. 1 yellow, 1 green, and 2 purples. All right, so you have failed to see anything, but you do have 2 advantages, and you also have a triumph. Triumphs are like super criticals, successes. So that's a symbol for a triumph right there. So while you didn't necessarily see what I thought you might see, you have the ability to really impact the narrative by narrating something additional that you might want to see in the scene, or something narratively that makes sense to you that your character would be excited about or find interesting or compelling.
See, this is the problem with that kind of power is I feel like a strong temptation to go on one side of the extreme scale or the other side of the extreme scale.
It's a fun thing.
Flip a coin.
All right. Although Itiru is sort of darting back and forth behind the passage of the other two, he does glimpse an anomaly upon the beach. There is a boat that is pulled up on the sands, lying against a distant dune. There's a small
Excellent.
rowboat. It's unclear at this angle if there's anything in it.
I saw that before you did.
Huh?
Sure, yes.
All right.
Ooh.
So a small rowboat. All right. So you guys continue to proceed down to the beach. There's the rowboat that Ituru has called out on it. And as you kind of approach closer, you start hearing small little rumblings around the sand. And you see what look to be some type of almost wormish creatures hanging out on the beach. These are definitely what you are looking for. They haven't noticed you yet, so you could theoretically try to sneak up on them if you wish, or you can handle this however you want.
Can I
can
use
talk
my
it through.
advantage to find a good spot to shoot at them from?
Absolutely, yes.
See, that's what I'll use my advantage for.
All right, so there are two ways that you roll for to see who gets to go first in this game. We're going to use cool this time because you guys have the advantage. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll your cool, which for most of you, I believe, is just 2 green. 1 green for Yuturu. Oh, 1 green for Krug. And one, yeah, everybody gets 1 green. All right, so yeah, go ahead and roll 1 green each. All right,
Is
1
that a
success and
roll?
advantage. Yep.
I'll take it.
You took my roll away when you picked that up.
All right, that one has 2 advantages on it.
So I'm gonna have a way worse roll because I had one of those little sun symbol on it. That's
Did I
gone.
take? I
Gone
didn't take your
forever.
dice. That was my own damn dice.
I took somebody's dice.
Oh, Irv took it. Okay. Two
And
chords
1
is
success.
yours.
Okay. I will roll for the creatures. All right, so here is the initiative track. You'll see here that it hasn't listed any one of you specifically. The reason is because you can narratively decide who's going to go. So, like, if it makes more sense for Murphy to shoot first because he's going to be kind of start the encounter at range, or for Troik to cast something first, you guys can decide, yeah, Troik's going to go first, then it's going to be this next person, then we know the monsters are going to go, then it's going to be the third person, then it's going to be the next monster. So you guys can kind of narratively choose what makes sense in your battle strategy, try to make this attack on.
Where's my little token at? Is it on my?
I gotta spawn a few for you guys here because I didn't do that yet.
Can I use an advantage to like have Troik and Irv shoot at the same time?
I mean, you already have 2 slots there, so you could go 1, 2, so you can already kind of do that.
Okay. But that you don't need an advantage to do that. You can
Nope.
synchronize fire when you have the element of surprise there.
Yeah, you guys are kind of first at the top of the initiative here, so 2 of them will go first, then 1 monster, or 2 monsters, and then the third person, and then another monster. So.
All right, now for mechanics' sake, range calculation.
Yes, so engaged is I'm right next to them. Short range is like somewhere around 5 or 6 squares. Medium range is somewhere between like 7 and 10, 7 and 11. And then anything beyond that is long range.
All right, and you're deciding starting positions for us on the
Nope,
thing?
you guys can. I was just dropping out color characters. You guys can move yourselves where you be.
Ooh, give me a blue one.
Gonna move myself last because I figure I want to make sure they're between me and them, or at least adjacent.
Who's green?
I'm green.
Okay. I position myself behind the walking shield or mobile cover, as I've nicknamed him.
I don't have the hand cannon card.
Yeah, it doesn't exist technically in Terranith, so I don't have
Oh.
I don't have that. So Troik, I'm gonna give you not that.
We just need to import all of the cards. It is the only way.
In case you wish to see some of the magic stuff at a glance, that could be helpful.
That's much nicer than looking at it for the browser on the second monitor, which is what I have been doing.
All right, so on your turn, you have one maneuver and one action. So maneuver might be something like, I want to move closer to the enemy. I want to get engaged with them. It could be something like, I want to, like Murphy, I know your hand cannon has like a prepare action on it, right? So I want to prepare to fire. So that could be a maneuver. It could be, I want to assist this other person with something they're going to do. So I want to use my maneuver to maybe help Irv get his crossbow ready, or lean over so Irv can set his crossbow on my back so he has a nice stable place to shoot from. Then you also have one action. So that's going to be like, I'm going to fire my crossbow. I'm going to quaff this potion. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do here. So you have one action and one maneuver. You can also spend 2 strain. So you are currently at 0 strain. You can also spend 2 strain if you want to do another maneuver. So if you said, if something big and bad is trying to eat your face and you want to run back a couple bands of range, you could spend a little strain to take an extra step back further away so that it's not as likely as they can catch up with you, or you're out of the range of this fire that is now flowing all around you, whatever the case may be. You have one maneuver and one action. So who's going first?
Did I get my little character peg?
Yeah, you're the red one.
Where? I don't see a red one. Oh, I meant in the over here.
And technically,
who's
the red
going
one's
first?
mine.
Yeah.
I'm the blue.
Yeah, sorry.
So it's, you guys decide. So this is kind of the thing. Like, you can decide. Like, it's a PC slot. So you guys are PCs. You're fighting NPCs. So you can decide who's going to go first. Nope. You guys talk it through. Who makes sense to go first?
I'll go first since I'm the best shot. You two are trash.
All right. So you are at short range. So that is a very simple attack. So you're going to go ahead, and you can see here on your card that you have a prepare 1. So that means you're going to want to prepare your crossbow, load a bolt in. So that's probably your maneuver. And then you're going to go ahead and make your attack. So let's see what you have for that.
Okay. You said I had a prepare.
Yep. So your card's here. It kind of lets you know that you need to prepare a shot.
Okay. Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing.
No problem. All right.
Okay.
So I would come over here. So I'm going to give you, it's the opening. So you're going to have just 1 purple, 1 easy difficulty on this. And then you're going to that, you're going to add your attack. So let's see, what do you have what is your range? So you have 4 to that. So for that, you are going to roll 2 yellow and 2 green dice.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
The roll was not meant for mortal eyes.
That was a damn good roll.
All right, you got 3 successes and 2 advantages on that roll. So, you hit, and you hit hard with your crossbow, striking this creature directly in the forehead. It lets out a worm scream. So you are going to do, you can see here it has a damage of 7, plus additional 1 for each success you have above 1. So you do 9 damage to the first worm as the arrow lodges into its head. And that is your first combat turn. Who wants to go next?
Woo!
Troy, go.
All right. For the record, this is my first time actually using this software, so for me, the card is blank, which means I have made an error somewhere.
Which card?
One conveniently placed on my side of the table.
Oh, the sling?
4, crit
Yeah,
4,
I can't see it.
0, HP 0, range medium, rarity 0.
Let's see if
Disorient
I can
2
paste
and
it.
prepare.
I might be able to try to pull another one here for you a second. Can you see this one?
Nope.
All right, well, we can help with this. All right, so you have prepare 1. So that's an action to put a stone or whatever. How does your weapon look?
He is flinging the rocks with his tail.
Nice. Okay.
Just for mechanics' sake, I chose sling for that.
That's awesome. I like it.
Troy, if you go back to the character creator thing, it actually tells you all the stats of the weapon down where you chose it initially. Since you can't see it in the game.
I'll have to figure that out later. But I actually want to open up with a spell instead
All right.
to take advantage of our surprise here. And my next question on that is range for spells.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
So-
have range modifiers, so how do you tell initial range before modifiers?
So, basically, if you're right next to somebody, that means you're engaged. Again, so, and then a few squares is short range, and then, like 7 to 11 is like medium range, and beyond that is long range. So,
Does diagonal count?
yes, diagonals count.
So does it start as range, or do I need to add range for a spell? Because otherwise it's like on touch, point blank in its effect.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, you cast that range. It's
Okay.
only the how far away that you cast is basically that's the thing of like if your character is far away from them, that would use the far away range.
Yeah, which I still don't see initial one, so I'm just gonna wing it and we'll see if it's even close or not.
All right. You start at an easy difficulty because you're within short range,
All right.
at least to the closest one, unless you want to shoot one of the farther ones away. This guy here is close range.
I would like to try for ice
Okay.
and fire.
Ice and fire, nice. Okay, so that adds 2 purple dice to your roll, so you'll have 3 purple dice. And are you doing this as an arcane, I'm guessing?
That is, I've got equal in arcane and divine, but I'm assuming arcane for this.
All right, cool.
Won't it be just like room temperature by the time it gets to him?
You clearly have never played a mage.
All right, so that's 3 purple dice, and then you get 2 yellow and a green.
That's what happens in Divinity, Troy. You make fog when you do that.
Yeah, but in World of Warcraft, you can do all three at once.
You get one more yellow.
Yeah, that wasn't a good throw at all.
Feel free to rethrow if you wish.
That's cheating. Or did you mean he didn't roll them very well?
All right, that's at least more spins in the roll. I'll take that.
All right.
Oh no, the beast cries out in anger.
Damn, it's really pissed he shot it in the forehead with that arrow.
All right, so you hit your attack hits. So you have both ensnare and burn with rating equal to your rank in knowledge. So for you, you've got 1 rank in knowledge. So that creature is both burnt, has the burn quality, and is ensnared. So how does your effect look when you actually sling this at this thing?
Yatiru spits it at them.
I thought you whipped it with your tail.
That's for the rocks.
You casting fireballs too?
Yeah.
Damn.
Where do the fireballs
Technically, this
come
is
from,
like
Troy?
fire and ice. Nah, it's all the same thing. Have you ever seen like an anime spell attack or anything?
So you're shooting fireballs out of your tail?
It's like
No, he's
ice.
spitting them.
It's an ice bolt with fire spinning
Wait.
around it in a halo, alright?
You
How's that?
spit, You spit the fireball?
You're gonna have to send them a video after the session's over about this.
God damn it, guys.
Does it come out of your mouth or your tail?
The mouth.
Oh, okay.
He goes,
Gotcha.
and it goes flying.
All right. So that hits, does damage, and I have labeled that character as burned and ensnared on the map. All right, it is their turn. So
Hey, Murphy didn't, or the big robot didn't go.
yep. So there was 2 PCs,
Last.
then 2 NPCs, then a PC, and then an NPC.
Okay.
All right. So the creature furthest to the right begins sliding across right up next to this here robot.
It's me.
It goes to latch its mouth onto the robot's halberd. What type of armor did you choose, Murphy?
Light.
All right.
Plate. +2 soak, 1 defense, 4 encumbrance.
All right. So it successfully bites and latches onto your arm. Because of your soak, it does not do any damage, but you notice that its mouth, small little green acid dribbles are starting to form around your halberd as it is latched onto you. All right, the second one that was shot with the arrow before squiggles around and is going to try to bite on the person who hit it with its arrow. What kind of armor do you have, Irv?
I've leather. The best of armors. Oh shit.
All right. It successfully bites onto you. Your soak is also 4. Okay, so you take no damage. And you also see there. It also had a threat. So I'll say for the threat, you notice that not only has its poison glands seem to be somewhat loose. So you can kind of see when it bites onto your arm that its poison glands are somewhat loose. You think there might be an opportunity to actually yank its poison glands right out of its mouth if you so desire.
Oh god damn it.
All right, now it is Murphy's turn.
Do I not get the attempt, or do I? Is that on my next turn?
Yeah, on your next turn.
All right, he's holding my halberd arm.
Yes.
I will just put the hand cannon barrel right up to his nostril. And I have to prepare it. It is a 1 prepare.
I'm pretty sure that is correct, but check.
It is an inaccurate 1. Knockdown, limited ammo 2, and prepare 1.
Yes. So then, yes, one of your maneuver would be prepare.
Okay.
All right, you are at point blank range. So, in order for this is going to be an average difficulty. So that's 2 purples, and then because it is biting onto you, I'm also going to give you a setback because you are currently being bit onto. So you got to kind of navigate so it doesn't actually blast off your halberd.
Okay.
while doing it, and then your
I
roll
have
is.
a
Oh, go ahead.
I have a black, or the hand cannon has a black. It's 2 yellow
Yep.
and a black.
Yep. So
So
you'll get a
black is
yellow.
bad.
Yep. So yellow, green, and black,
Yellow, green, and black.
according to your character sheet that you sent me.
Okay. So yeah. The ranged light, it shows 2 yellow on mine.
It should automatic, unless I don't have your latest character sheet.
You might not have the light because I moved it from heavy to light because I realized the hand cannon was considered light.
Oh, okay. All right, you can switch it out.
So it's 2 yellow.
Okay.
On mine, I'm looking at it right now. But the gun itself, the hand cannon itself, has 2 yellow and a black. Does that?
Yeah, that would make sense.
So 2 yellow and a black for the hand cannon itself, and then
Yep.
2 yellow for the skill, right?
Yep.
Okay. No green. Yeah, no green.
All right. You did not hit, unfortunately. Your hand cannon goes
Which
off.
one
How does your
was-
hand cannon look when it fires?
It is just black powder, poof of smoke.
Awesome. So the smoke goes off. You notice at the last second that it wiggles just enough that if you were to shoot it, it would hit your halberd arm, and you quickly jerk your hand cannon up so you don't accidentally shoot yourself. You have a couple advantages. If you want to try to do something with those advantages, you could share what you think you could use those advantages for.
Could I use the still smoldering hot cannon to stick it into the little bugaboo's eyeball?
Absolutely, that sounds amazing.
Hey, there we go. How did I miss? Which ones are miss in here? Yeah,
So
sorry,
you've
I
got
don't know how to read
this X here is a miss.
right?
So that contrasts with your little gear icon as a success. You got a success here. That cancels out. And then these two are threats. Got one there and one there, which leaves you with, you can see you got an advantage on this one and 2 advantage on that one. So you have 3
Oh, okay.
advantage. These 4 canceled out, and that canceled. Yes.
All right. And Bernie barrel to Wormy is 1 advantage.
If you're going to use it as like an actual damaging attack, I would say it's 2. Or if you just wanted to if you want to kind of just shake it off, you could do it as 1.
I'll use all 3.
All right. So it kind of lets out a scream and it starts to sizzle from your hand cannon. Mark that damage. All right. Then the last NPC who is ensnared and burning is going to attempt to roll itself around in the ground, but it can't really do that because it's ensnared, so it's going to be a difficult challenge for it. And it failed. It is still on fire and it is still snared, so
Yes, the plan worked.
All right, and it'll take damage from that, and it goes back to the top of the order, next PC slot.
That'll be you, Irv.
Okay. So what kind of predicament am I in at the moment?
You have acid dripping onto your armor. This thing is lodged onto your arm at some place on your arm. You can pick the spot if you wish.
Left or right arm?
It's going to be on your left arm, the way I'm looking at it.
Okay. I smack it with my crossbow.
All right, excellent. All right, so that's going to be a melee attack. That's average difficulty. You've got nothing by the looks of it in melee.
God. Well, shit.
So that is going to be actually we'll say it's a brawl. Yeah. So you're 3 green for this.
Pull the purple dice.
Oh, what the bullshit. I
You-
can already tell that's bad.
You have 2 successes and 2 threats. So you did just successfully smack it with a crossbow.
Just pissed it off more.
So I would say we'll give it some melee damage from your crossbow, but I think a good use of those threats is that it's still attached to your arm. What do you agree with that?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll give it some damage. It's not looking great. It's looking like it's on its last
How
legs.
tough are these stupid worms? It's got a crossbow bolt lodged in its mandible.
It's a worm, Irv. Doesn't have a centralized brain for your crossbow
Worms for
venom.
catching big fish, and you get through one of these damn things drooling all over me.
All right. So that you still have a maneuver left. So you can still use a maneuver if you wish. So that could be you could try to move, you could try to roll, you could try to like do some kind of like acrobatics roll to try to dislodge it.
Can I try to rapidly jerk away?
Okay. yeah.
Wait. Actually, I lunge towards it and try to push it. Sort of like a tackle.
Okay, so you're gonna try to like all right.
Yeah, I'm pissed off. So, instinct is to attack.
Absolutely. All right. So that's going to be we'll say that's an athletics roll, so that's 3 green dice. And we'll say that's an easy thing because you're just gonna try to land on it basically. So
Woo! Triangles are good, right?
they are advantages. Basically, as this ends out, these are failures here. So you didn't get any successes, but you got two advantages. So actually 3 advantages there. I don't know why that didn't read as 3. So you go down to tackle this creature. You kind of jump down and try to tackle it. It kind of wiggles itself around, kind of flips itself over how it's latched onto your arm, so it doesn't take the brunt of the force. But you are able, I'd say, with those advantages, if you want to shake it off, because it's shaken as you kind of land, if you want to do that.
Okay. So now, what do I do now? What?
All right. So that was your maneuver and your action.
Into my turn.
So you could spend strain if you want to. You could spend 2 strain to do another maneuver if you want.
How many strain do I got?
You have 10 strain. Takes 2 strain if you want to do an extra maneuver.
No, hold on to that.
All right. Next PC slot.
All right, Itiru sees how his companions are handling it melee, decides that since the worm it has chosen as its prey is incapacitated for a moment, he is going to instead try to aid his companions to have a better chance against that acid.
Excellent.
And so he will attempt to cast Add Defense and additional target modified onto that to attempt to chain to both of his earnest companions as they sit there side by side fighting on the beach.
Awesome. Excellent. So you've got, it sounds like 3 difficulty on that. And then with your spell stuff, so
Suppose we'll pray to the divine again for that.
all right. So 2 yellows and a green, and then 3 purples.
Starting to question if I messed up my character sheet by having equal in arcade and divine. That might have been a mistake.
All right. So you have 1 success and 2 threat. So you are able to chain that effect onto your allies. So that give aid, that's an extra advantage for them, right?
Shield, shield, yes, yes.
Right. You guys, this blue dies are kind of like advantage dies, and you guys will get some of these on your next actions. All right. So that was your action. Do you want to do maneuver anything, Troik?
Yes, I would like to very much run a little bit further away since I see no reason to stand right next to my companions. So I would like to head over into the brush a little bit and further distance myself from the one that I have likely greatly pissed off upon the beach. Was having an exceptionally awful day.
It's just indeed. So
You
Uturo
run
kind of
away.
runs through the forest a little bit under the underbrush. You hear some rustling of grass, and then you see his head pop back up a little bit in the underbrush. All right. So we are back to the NPC slots. So the one start with the one that's
latched
closest.
onto me went first.
Yeah. So he's gonna go again. So Murphy, I'm gonna ask you to take 2 strain as you begin to feel some corrosion from the poison that is leaking out onto your metallic skin. So you could increase your strain by 2, so this counts up. Yeah, perfect.
He doesn't have a soul, so can he feel pain?
I don't know. That's a question only Murphy can answer.
I'm a real boy.
He should say-
It would be helpful to feel pain to then know that there is damage taking place. So that's
Well,
probably a common thing for people who build robots.
In my headcanon, you don't have feelings.
Well, you can choose to believe that.
I'm going to.
All right, so this thing is going to attempt to solidify its hold against you. It's going to take a extra setback because of the spell that Troik cast on you guys. So it's going to have a little bit harder time. And it fails. And again, you notice something else about this creature as it's trying to re-solidify its hold on you. You can see that there appears to be something, some type of light-colored gem jammed down its throat for about halfway down the worm's body. You're not sure what it is. It certainly does not look natural. All right. Then the one that is by Irv is going to go. Check its health real quick.
Don't I go next?
That damn thing should be dead. All logic dictates that.
Isn't it PC, NPC, PC?
Yeah, it went PC and then
So the worm that was latched onto my ass just went, and now it's my turn.
PC. Or did I go? Oh, yeah, I went out of order. Yep, all right, good.
So I go. All right, exactly how much would it take for me to take one of my soup jars out and smash it onto the worm's head?
That would be a maneuver.
Okay.
You've got a halberd for a hand, though.
Yeah, but I'm thinking if these things are anything like slugs, the turtle looks
Ah,
like
the
a
salt-
sodium-rich character.
the amount of
He looks
salt
like the
he
kind of
put
guy
in-
who would enjoy salt. So
Oh
salty
my
soup
God.
might cause some severe damage to the slug.
But they live next to salt water on the beach.
The
the
soup
water.
was the key the entire time, and we didn't even realize it.
I'm willing to try it. It's worth a shot.
All right, so that is a melee attack, so that is 2 difficulty there.
I have 2 light melee.
I don't think this is gonna work because we're
I
on
think
a
it's gonna work.
beach. We're on a beach that's like salt
Right,
water over
salt
there.
slugs live in fucking tropical islands. I've seen it, man. Slugs fucking like to creepy crawl around the tropical islands.
You're gonna have to cite some sources on that one.
2 yellow dice for your.
I do not have light melee, the one on the game shows that I do. And I have
Okay.
heavy melee. I don't know if there's a difference. And I have melee brawl. Or
You could
just regular
use-
melee. I've got regular melee, heavy melee. I have none in light melee. And none
You
in
could
brawl.
use either of those. You could use light or brawl.
Okay. It's just it's not on this card in the game. In the card that I filled out, it says melee and melee.
Yeah. So they just distinctive shit a little bit. So you have 2 yellow basically for either
Okay.
of them.
Yeah. All right. Do I get any bonuses for the soup? And
Soup
the salt?
provides
Or is
no
this
additional.
going to be figured out later when I actually hit the thing?
Yeah, they gotta hit the thing first, then we'll talk about the soup.
Good. So just 2 purple, 2 yellow?
I was just double checking. Your thing doesn't give any advantage on attacks, does it, Drake? Your spell that you cast.
Nope, it is just to help them not die.
Got it.
As far as I know, there's nothing I can cast that will make them hit things better. Otherwise, that would definitely be on my list.
All right, sounds good.
Of course, Primal Fury might be that ability. I don't know if that's self only or range as well.
Pretty much, you can chain these together almost any way you want to, as long as it makes narrative sense. You can do it.
All right, I did not spec into Primal, so I will not be doing that.
All right, I'm ready to roll it.
Yep. A straight wash.
What's that?
0. He did not. He did
Oh.
not succeed. Did not fail. This one canceled this one, and this one canceled this one.
That means he didn't spell his soup, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's the important
The-
part.
The lids that Turtle Man sold them pots is,
They were too
incredible
good, and the
quality.
soup didn't open.
Yeah. So that was your first maneuver. You could spend your action as a maneuver, or you could spend. So you could change your action to be a maneuver if you wish as well, or you could spend additional 2 strain to use another maneuver.
Bash him again. Bash him again.
Yeah, I'm gonna try the soup again. This has to work.
It's gonna
Might
fail.
want to unscrew that lid first.
Those lids. Yeah, you should.
So I'll
you should
put 2
unscrew the
strain.
lid.
I'll put 2 strain into operating the soup.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and give you an extra boost die because this is the second time you're rolling it. So go ahead and roll that blue die. All right. So success canceled out there. That one cancels out, and you got nothing on the blue die, unfortunately. So you failed. It
You took
slithers
the lid
around your
off.
arm to the bottom, so you can't smash it with the soup. You did get one advantage, so I will say if you want to let it dribble down your arm onto the creature rather than hitting it directly, you could choose to do that if you wish.
I still have my attack, right?
Yes.
Well, I guess I'll just
Pour-
hit the damn thing.
Pour it out onto it. and see
Actually,
if
I
you-
can use the attack to also hit soup.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit it with the fucking soup. I'm going to.
Okay.
This is like a slot machine gambling addiction.
It's got to pay off eventually.
It's gonna work. Like when this salt touches this fucking slug boy, you guys are gonna be damn as it melts into nothing. All right, same roll.
Same roll.
Same roll on the attack. Okay.
All right. So you get a success and 2 threats. So you succeed at smashing this on this slug. So here's the other cool thing about Genesis I'm going to introduce to you guys here tonight. These are called story points down here. I start with 1. You guys each start with 1. They're a free-flowing economy. By default, soup probably wouldn't hurt this slug, but you can say, I'm willing to flip one of these story points to say that this has a high enough salt concentration in it to affect the slug. And then I'm going to take that as canon. And then I can use these in similar ways when I'm describing things to you guys. And then I would pass this back to you. So you can choose, if you wish, to flip a story point and say, this salt content is high enough to affect this slug, and I will make it happen.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the soup smashes against the slug, and it immediately begins to shrivel. This slug had already taken a fair amount of damage, but you can see it shrivels and shrieks almost to nothingness as it dies and releases your arm.
See, I knew that was gonna pay off. Does the
Tyrone
little red nugget that was in the slug stay, or is it just in a pile of white foamy gunk, or is it gone?
Yes, it is kind of sitting in that pile of white foamy gunk,
Alrighty.
kind of just sitting there.
Good to know. All right.
All right. So
Just-
NPC is gone.
Just as a reaction to this, Utiru is giving celebratory whistle at it. Good job, big robot.
Like R2D2. Just standing over at the bushes going.
So Yaturo went, and then you went. So now it's over to the NPC slot. All right, so we're gonna let we're actually gonna let this NPC that's been burned and ensnared go again. It is going to attempt to once again clear itself of this ensnarement and burning.
Now, do they gain bonuses for each turn that they're ensnared to increase their odds of getting out of it?
Yeah, yep. It makes sense if you're doing it. You're getting more proficient at it, so I usually add one. Yeah.
All right.
How did the soup thing go?
It worked.
These things
Slug
are
is dead.
makes sense.
All right. So this slug that's over here that's burned and ensnared, it cannot get out of the ensnarement. It failed to get out of the ensnarement, but it had one advantage. So I'm going to say it is no longer burning. It has kind of rubbed itself out in the sand, so it is now just ensnared on the ground. And over to PC slot.
That Trig's move?
That's Murphy's move again.
How do you
Or-
get 2 moves?
It's
That's a good question.
it was Irv, Troik, Slug, me, Slug, Irv, Troik, Slug, me. So now it's and Slug just went. So the other Slug needs to, right?
You killed one of those slots of slugs, so I killed that slot off. So it's back to a PC's turn. I killed slug 2 here.
Yes, we could let Irv go then.
So my turn? Okay, what kind of predicament am I in again?
All right, so this
'Cause
slug
I
is just kind
tackled
of
this thing.
yeah, it's just kind
And
of
we
you're kind of
rolled
sprawled out
around
before
sand.
it. Yep. So you're
what
kind of
kind of
on your
pos-
stomach staring at this thing, and it's staring back at
Okay.
you.
I grabbed the arrow lodged in its head and then like try to stir the arrow around in its brain to scramble his giblets.
All right, that sounds like a brawl attack to me if I've ever heard one.
I should have put more points into brawl. I mean, it's,
You're playing an orc.
I
It should be
know,
all the points in the brawl.
All
that's
right,
not
so
what it-
that's average difficulty. You get 3 green dice for brawl because you have your brawn of 3. And I will give you an advantage because you're on the same level as it.
okay. Oh, you're kidding me.
You succeed, but with 1 threat. So you stab it into it,
Oh, it was already lodged in its head, right?
stir it around a bit. Yep. Stir it around a bit in the
You should
arrow.
put like a hand on each side of it, like you're trying to start a fire.
And so you kill this thing. So it shrivels and lets out its last death scream. You do have 1 threat. I'm going to say as part of that threat, you hear a chink, and something inside this worm breaks. And you see small little, as its innards kind of flow out, you see small little shards of red starting to flow out, and it smells horrible. And I'm going to ask you to take 2 strain from the smell of this.
Now I'm an orc. Now other things don't smell too great to begin with.
This is
Maybe
magical
it
in
just
nature,
doesn't
though.
smell bad to an orc.
This is
Or it
magical in
smells-
nature.
Okay, fair enough.
So even by your orc senses, this is horrible.
That's pretty damn bad.
All right, so you can take up your strain right here. The good news is strain is pretty easy to recover.
So I'm at 2, correct?
Yep, 2 out of 10.
Okay.
If you hit 11, you'd pass out. All right, so that NPC is dead. Switch it back. There's only 1 NPC slot remaining, so it's just Mr. Ensnared over here. Going to attempt once again to get ensnared, and it is going. All right, 1 success, 1 threat. So it is no longer ensnared. What do you guys want for your advantage on this slug? Could be something as simple as it can't move this turn, as it just got out of the ensnared. Could be you notice something.
I want to be a less of a appealing looking target than the
Yeah.
BT.
You know, as the person who has made that slug's life the worst, I would like to take charge for this and say it is just too pissed off to immediately come after there. It is nerd raging.
Sounds
It's
good.
flailing on that beach.
it's,
All
it's
right.
shaking its multiple fists in the air.
Yes.
All right, then it's back to you guys. PC slot.
Should be my turn again, for it has been too long.
It's BLT, or if it's not BT.
I know. I looked at it and I finally got it, and I was like, oh, I'll have a number 14.
Yutiru, what are you gonna do?
Have a what?
I'll have a number 14.
It's a brave little toaster.
I was thinking bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich.
Alright. I would like to chain, blast, and deadly.
Ooh.
Now wait, we're in between the monster and
Yeah.
neutral.
How
That's
accurate are
kinda,
you, Squirrelbot?
you have to roll for
Exceptionally
accuracy.
accurate. This is hundreds of years of practice.
So you are at a further range out from the creature. You're beyond 7 spaces, right? 1, 7. So yeah, it's going to be 2 purple dice base plus your 2 for your effects. So it'll be 4 purple dice.
Alright. Two
Your
yellow
spell.
again? Or
Yep,
just...
whatever your spellcasting is. Yep.
I don't remember that off the top of my head yet. It's not committed to memory.
Worries. You have 2 yellow and a green. Arcane, divine both.
Yep, and it's probably going to be arcane for the hell of it.
All right.
See if it lets me down.
Two successes and 3 threats. All right. Wow, that's awesome. All right, so you get critical rating of 2, and your attack also gets a vicious quality with rating equal to the character's ranks in knowledge, which you have 1 rank in knowledge. Yeah, you obliterate this thing. Tell me how you want this to die.
I would say not too dramatic. Maybe just glass the sand around it a little bit. Tiru expertly arcs the spell past his 2 companions. Just smashes the dang thing.
All right. And then we will say with your 3 threats, makes sense because you had such an expert mover and had to weave it around. Why don't you take 2 strain for that, some of those threats?
All right. And the strainometer is... because I've got the blanks here, so I've got numbers, but I don't got the meanings behind
Are
them.
they all blank?
Yeah, it's all white.
This one is your strain right here.
All right, I got nothing where those arrows are.
All right,
You should refresh, Troy.
Yeah. We'll get you
Yeah,
poker
like
chips or
leave and
something
come
here.
back. This is too
Oh, is there a refresh?
Yeah, just back out of the game and come back in. Or there might be a reload thing.
I mean, I can tally it up. Or can he just not see it?
It didn't load in for him.
Yeah, it's odd. I'm not sure why. So yeah, we'll say that you guys, we'll say that you get 2 strain on that, and then you also see that red crystal break inside this 3rd one for the 3rd threat, and that
Good
kinda has
job,
that.
you guys. We only got one of them.
And with that, you are out of combat.
Well,
Burn!
I want to pick up that red nugget.
I want to open up the corpse and the one I killed to see what's inside of it.
All right.
Didn't it dissolve into a puddle?
Did it?
So BLT, you pick up the crystal that was inside yours. You look at it closely. It's definitely magical in nature. It's about the size of a pencil, all things considered. It has a magical energy quality to it. And as you hold it, you kind of almost feel like agitated, like you're slightly agitated as you hold it. Not affecting you too much, but definitely increases your agitation, however that works for your personality.
You picking up stupid shiny rocks for?
Was I agitated before he said that?
Your call. How do you respond to the comment?
I asked you a question, bacon.
Ow! Hey, can I have that piece of bread that you got?
You don't even eat. You have no
Yeah,
intestines.
I got a plan, though. I got to try something.
Sure.
I want to stuff the pencil, the agitation pencil, into the loaf of bread to shield myself.
Now this
from
bread is soaked in soup.
That's okay. I'm just saying, if the soup-soaked bread will protect me from the radiation that the agitation pencil is.
Yes, it will.
Aha!
Well, how does I can't comprehend the magic behind this. So, do I get to check my corpse yet?
You do. You kind of pull through the corpse a little bit. You see those same red bits. You kind of plug your nose because you know it's going to be bad smelling as you kind of get close to it this time.
My
I ain't picking it.
olfactory sensors do like a printout that says this really stinks bad.
I ain't picking that shit up.
You get close to it. You kind of sort through it. I mean, for the most part, it's what you kind of saw. I mean, you can pull off body parts or whatever, but the inside of it is got its digestive tract with whatever it normally eats, probably some type of mollusks.
Can
And
can I cut its intestines? I want to cut its intestines open to see what and harvest some clams out of it.
Sure, you can.
Partially digested clams.
They're gonna be whole clams.
Absolutely, you
There's
pull
gonna-
out a few
there's
whole
gonna-
clams.
I pocket the clams. I'm gonna open them up later.
You see the teeth on them worms. I assume they like chewed it a little.
Can I collect the teeth too?
Sure. Yep.
And-
Absolutely.
okay. I'm gonna save those for later because I can totally make some poisons out of that.
All right.
Where's my bag at so I can make it?
You can kind of just either we can make you a notepad note or you can write it down just somewhere. I don't have like
Yes,
a.
I would like a notepad so I can know.
Got a
what's-
notepad on your character sheet.
Can I use that?
I think that pushes things into. Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, actually, probably. Yaturo, do you want to do anything as the others are searching through corpses?
Yeah. Assuming it is possible to get close and see a certain ominous red crystal here, I would like to do a knowledge check.
You should
Absolutely.
pick the one up out of my corpse. 'Cause I didn't-
Are you doing it on the complete one that I have stuffed in my
Yeah.
bread shield? Okay.
Because kind of figure it between knowing about runes and knowing about magical things, there's a chance he might know something about it or divine something about
What kind of knowledge do you have, Boynton?
All right, so you have knowledge in general and knowledge about lore. So both are the same rank. So I'm going to say this is going to be an average difficulty check for you. So 2 purple. Get your green and yellow. All right. So you remember back to a time before the island was sealed, and these crystals were made in much bigger quantities, like the size of small boulders, to help encase the island. Emotions were pumped from the mages into these, which kind of. You've never seen them this small before. You've only seen like the big boulder sides that helps keep the barrier up. So this is kind of disturbing to you to see that in such a small form. You remember when these big ones were created.
picking up trash rocks.
crystal important. Yes, yes.
Oh, it is not. These things used to be massive. You just said so yourself.
He has to choose if he wishes to share that knowledge.
Oh. Shit. Sorry.
Tiru decides to crawl up the side of his big robot companion there and stare at the pot. And then politely states, "These were once used, yes, for the barrier. They were bigger. Now it is tiny. It is so tiny. This is bad. We must show it to them who see mages, yes."
Well,
And he waits inquisitively
That's not what we were sent here to do. We were sent here to, I believe, clear the beaches of local wildlife.
We did, yes.
Yes. And shouldn't we check out that that boat we initially saw?
Ichiru shrugs. Figuring it's secondary to the importance of the crystal, he doesn't bother to comment beyond it. He does, however, hop down and start walking towards said boat.
All right. You notice that this boat is somewhat fresh, which is slightly troublesome. You can see, especially with how close you are to the ground, there appears to be two sets of footprints that are leading away from the boat, kind of towards the east, as it were, just heading off in that direction. The boat itself is pretty much empty. You do see some wreckage just kind of bobbing in the water a little bit further out, but the boat itself is empty, and it's just like you described. It's more of a rowboat than a full sailing ship. But
I'm going to call it a pinnace. It's like between the two. It's close enough.
there you go.
Well, what was that glowing light coming from it? Or am I
The
misremembering things?
agitation pencil.
That was in the monsters.
It was in the monster, not in the boat. The agitation pencil that I got out of the worm.
Is that what we were seeing?
That was the glowy thing he was talking about.
It's an emotion crystal.
I thought it was some kind of rift.
You don't recall any rifts.
Okay. I don't have the sharpest of minds, I'll admit.
So what do you guys wish to do?
Can I use my adventuring knowledge thing to scan this boat?
Sure, yeah. If you want to, yeah. So what are you trying to ascertain about the boat?
If there's anything good on it.
It's pretty wrecked at this point. You don't have to roll for that. You can pretty clearly see this is a hard shipwreck. So
It's a rowboat. What are you gonna find it? Dude.
You could scavenge some tackle if you want.
Yeah, there could be like a fucking, there could be a book underneath the.
Oh yeah, it's been sitting in. You know what kind of damage salt water does to
Maybe they stuffed their book inside of a piece of bread that was soaked in soup to protect it
we
from
need
the
to
salty
stop.
wave.
When we head back to town, we need to go.
Well, let's find these footsteps. Maybe it's another ne'er-do-well that we need to
I
back.
completely forgot about the footsteps.
Tiru has turned away from the boat by this point and is just staring at the path of the footsteps, and then occasionally glancing over his shoulder at the orc who appears to be in charge of the party.
Onward, little squirrel thing, we shall follow you. Up the beach.
I just used my athletics to do a flip. Oh, God.
Tiru goes trotting after the flipping robot, trying to catch up. His graceful, soup-wielding acrobatics are too much for the rest of us.
All right, Coker, can I ask if we have to rest to get the strain back? And is my ammo count in the hand can reset after I buy it? Do I have to buy it, or does it just reset after combat ends?
Usually after combat ends, unless you're in like in a strain of like epic, like you assume you're on the Death Star and you were going from room to room, you might not find extra ammo just lying about. It's not like that sort of thing. But as long as it's generally accepted that you'll either recover or create your new things in combat.
All right.
And then as far as strain goes, there's several ways to recover strain. Obviously, you have a healer. Healers can help recover strain. You can also take a rest that helps recover strain. If you take a full rest, you recover all your strain. HP is much more a critical resource. Like if you lose HP, you can only recover like 1 HP a night outside of like magical healing or some type of potion or something. So HP is much more critical.
Where's HP at, or is that wounds?
Wounds, yep.
Oh, so wounds is my HP.
Yes.
Well, we need to visit a whorehouse. When we get back to after the
That's
trip.
accumulating afflictions, not taking care of
You
them.
know, it may come with some negatives, but it's positives too.
So you begin trailing these footsteps. They go on for quite a while. In the distance, you kind of follow. They seem to be following along the beach, looking for some type of something to see. As the twin suns begin to kind of set and the moons start rising above, you see a small campfire in the distance, and you hear the sound of some type of musical wind instrument being played across the nice, tranquil evening.
It's like a grade school
Now,
recorder.
now wait, this is trouble. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it's trouble. How can I use my adventuring skill, Coco?
So adventuring there's a lot of different things you can do with adventuring.
Because this is sketchy.
So you could try to, if you want to, I'll give you a few things. Like if you wanted to sneak up on this camp, that would be stealth. If you want to attempt to, adventuring knowledge is like, how do I cross this lagoon safely without getting attacked by alligators? Or
How do I investigate this camp without? How do I? Huh.
So
How do you
vigilance,
perceive?
Yeah. Perception is
that's-
kind of like your passive, and vigilance is like your active. So perception, think of it as like, I know things about the world, and like if all of a sudden the crickets stop chirping, I'm going to notice that more likely. Versus vigilance is like, I'm watching, trying to figure out what is going on here.
Well, shit. Let's just trudge into camp, see what's going on.
Before we do that, though, what options do I have for reducing or removing strain from myself and others?
I believe some of your healings.
This is the music that's coming from the camp.
Seems about right.
So I would say you can, your general difficulty level is going to reduce strain. And yeah, I think it's like that per success. Pull that up real quick.
Is it particularly noticeable to cast these things? Is there a big whoosh, light, noise?
That is completely up to you.
All right.
Your magic.
I'm a huge fan of arcane style spells where you cast and people don't notice the intervening distance of the spell between one point and another because it doesn't go the normal way.
Yeah. So the difficulty of healing is 1 purple die base, and then for every success and every strain that is uncancelled, basically every advantage and every success you get,
Above and beyond that is healed strain. So you've got 2 yellow and a green, and 2 yellow and a green. So you could have potentially up to 6 strain healed if you get a full house, basically.
For the record, if I had this in front of me during the last fight, I absolutely would have summoned more minions.
Oh, okay.
That would have been rule number 1: is more meat shields. All right, so which spell specifically would be strain here?
It's not listed in this particular thing for whatever reason. It's just heal. Heal is the master category. You can do the primal or divine healing.
This is why I have divine, so definitely going with
Yep.
divine. And I want to do additional target because I figure it's just. Let's see. Yeah, they both got a fair bit of strain, so I just want to reduce 2 if possible. So I'm assuming 2 is a default interval, or is 1 a default?
1 to 2. 1 is default. 2 is more of a strenuous something.
I'm gonna go with 1 with default. They can be a little strained.
All right.
It'll keep them awake.
All right. So 2 yellows and a green.
Against the 2 purple?
Yep. Additional target plus your easy. Two successes and 1 advantage. So that's 6 strain off each.
Bit
I made them too
overkill.
relaxed. It's inconvenient.
Can we go negative?
No.
Oh,
That would be hilarious.
I was thinking that would put us off guard. We're just like,
Just got out of the massage room.
Yeah.
The smell
not.
of the soup is starting to smell really
It goes
appealing.
negative, but it's actually a disadvantage.
All right, so having moved the trail behind his 2 companions as they approach the campfire, Tiru quietly casts a spell, the only noticeable sign being a slight increase in the dim, continuous glow he emits wherever he goes.
Great. You approach the
Why?
campsite. And you see 2 rather interesting figures sitting about it. The younger one is playing a flute. They do not look native to this island whatsoever. Their garb and their gear is very strange, but you do notice written in common on the top of one of the 2 individuals on his backpack is written the words exotic goods.
That really was too loud. So I feel like I missed half the description there from the music.
Oh, that person, ask the person to stop playing the damn flute then.
Ash is providing atmosphere for us.
Say, hey, purple haired little freak, stop it with the record.
She
hell are
turns
you
and looks
doing,
at you
Ash?
and like, apologies. I did not realize my playing was so offensive.
Then why are you still doing it? Ash.
The elder one looks up. You notice his eye has been recently damaged. It actually has blood still crusted beneath it. He has some type of bandage / monocle thing over it now. But there is definitely a fresh wound over where one of his eyes once was.
Looks like somebody got their ass kicked.
The landing was most difficult, yes. Tell me, good sirs, can you tell us where we have shipwrecked?
Oh, that was your boat back there?
Yes, it was.
Did those worms come with you?
No, those were how I got this, and he points to his eye.
Atiru
Did,
takes a keen interest in that eye.
He's lying. Those worms are way nastier and would not have left such a slight wound.
Will you guys launch agitation bolts at the worms to try to fend them off?
Agitation bolts?
Yeah. Negative energy pencils.
The look on his face is one of confusion and not understanding.
Show him the bread. I'll show him the bread with the pencil. This thing. It was sticking in one of the worms. Did you guys lob these at him?
Not the bread,
Yeah, the bread.
the other thing.
It's the crystal.
Well, the
The
crystal that's in the bread.
But it's not
The
the
bread.
bread. You gotta clarify, not the bread.
Holding up my soup-soaked bread with
Take-
the agitation
take-
pencil sticking out of it to show it
take-
to the.
Take it out of the loaf of bread.
I'm not gonna touch it.
He looks at it. Oh, that is a very interesting piece you've got there. Interested in a trade?
Tiru immediately steps in. Not this one. No.
Ah,
But
too
I
bad.
perhaps heal for trade.
Have some ability to heal?
Yes.
Well, let me show you his wares. And as he begins to unpack his tinker's backpack, as the flute begins to resume its playing, and everything is laid out in front of you, a cornucopia of strange and weird-looking items. And as you begin to peruse over them, that is where we will leave it for tonight.
I knew you'd do
That's
that.